Girlish Number is the 12-episode fall 2016 series from Diomeda. It gives an interesting look inside the anime industry, a la Shirobako, but this time from the perspective of voice actors. As a whole, it stands as a pretty good series. Its characters are compelling, and it has many good moments sprinkled throughout. But it has some major flaws that hold it back from being a truly fantastic show. Let's jump in with the characters. Our main character is Chitose Karasuma. What initially struck me about the show is how delightfully terrible she is. The dichotomy between her cruel inner monologue and the face she puts on outside is both funny and quite relatable. However, I feel the show failed to commit fully to a particular direction with her character. Chitose is selfish, has no drive, constantly looks for praise, and is just overall pretty mean and unempathetic. All of this is fine, but where I find fault is that they chose to redeem her character towards the end, without truly building into it. All her friends love and believe in her seemingly against all reason, as I would say she had far too few heartfelt moments earlier on to establish a truly meaningful relationship with these characters. When Chitose falls to her lowest point before rising again, her lowest point really isn't that low. For all her terribleness in the first 2/3 of the series, when she falls, it's pretty anticlimactic, and the incredibly saccharine ending left me feeling a bit cheated. However, despite all this, I do have a really hard time outright disliking her character. There is something about her, be it her voice or design or writing or whatever, that just makes you care about her against all odds. Perhaps that's the same element that affects her friends within the show. Who knows? Now, Chitose herself as a character is grounds enough to build an entire 12-episode show around, but this series also decides to introduce multiple side character arcs. Toada and Kuzu undergo minor character arcs, and Momaka, Kazuha, and Gojo undergo semi-major character arcs. With all this stuff to cover in such a short show, everything ends up feeling a bit touch and go. The development for all of these side characters feels either incomplete or lacking in development, yet the show presents it as if these characters have had a highly significant development and everything is perfectly resolved. This is particularly bad with regards to Momaka, with whom I feel the main conflict was never even addressed at all. Even despite this, the characters still stand as interesting in their own right, underdeveloped or no. Particularly with Gojo and Koto, who show you bits and pieces of their background, but don't go into it outright, and instead let you piece it together yourself, giving you enough information to get a good idea of their character and what they've undergone, but without it ever feeling like a big expository monologue. Some of the best moments in the show come from when the characters are just sitting there having a beer, reminiscing about the past, or playfully arguing and joking with one another. There, the heart of the show really comes across. With regards to the animation, I found myself pretty impressed. The character expressions, especially with Chitose, are excellent, and all the character designs are memorable, distinct, and appealing. The quality in the animation does drop a bit towards the end, but the first 9 odd episodes are very high quality with some excellent scenes. Another thing I really appreciate about the visual design was the color choices. The show is just very appealing and pleasing to look at. Theme-wise, the show had a lot of potential. It drew me in by giving me a look at these characters working on a show that seemed doomed to failure from the start due to overwork, poor management, and circumstance. It seemed like it would really show what causes the downfall of a series and show the darker side of the industry. But instead the character shifts to a much lighter, more hopeful, and more cartoony tone. I'm fine with it ending on a hopeful note, but again I don't feel like the show really earned it, which may be in part due to its short length. In Shirobako, the character struggle is shown quite in depth, and you can see that everyone there is putting in full effort to produce a good show. So when they do well, it's satisfying and believable. Here, the result ends up feeling somewhat tacked on, and I can't help but think that had they focused a bit more on the series the characters were working on and on the show's themes than on their half-hearted coverage of the characters, it would have turned out better. At the very least, I'm sure we could have done without that beach episode. Thanks for watching! Be sure to subscribe for more anime-related content and let me know what you thought of Girlish Number. So far, I'm holding to my commitment of being more active, so hopefully I'll see you quite soon in the next one. Peace.